Let me paint you a picture. It's a Tuesday evening. You've had a long day. You're sitting on your couch and you pick up your phone just to check your bank balance before bed. Just one quick number, 30 seconds tops. But then you notice a notification from your budgeting app. You've spent 80% of your dining budget this month. So you tap it, and now you're inside the app. There's a little chart, a streak counter, a recommendation at the bottom. Users like you saved an extra $200 this month by switching to our premium plan. You scroll a little. You tap another tab. There's a colorful breakdown of your spending. You feel slightly anxious. You feel slightly motivated. You feel like maybe you should do something. 45 minutes later, you put your phone down. You didn't do anything productive with your money. You just consumed the app. And the whole time, you thought you were the one in control. Here's the uncomfortable truth. You weren't. What happened in those 45 minutes wasn't random. It wasn't your lack of willpower. It was the result of decisions made by a team of behavioral scientists, product designers, and data analysts who spent months, maybe years, engineering exactly that experience. Every color, every notification, every word choice, every progress bar was designed with a single underlying goal. Not to improve your financial health, but to keep you inside that app as long as possible and nudge you toward behaviors that generate revenue for the platform. And the most unsettling part? It works every single day on hundreds of millions of people, including people who are smart, educated, and financially aware. Today, we're going to break down exactly how they do it, technique by technique, layer by layer, so that you can finally start using these apps on your own terms instead of theirs. Hey, welcome back to Zaki Invests, the channel where we break down money, psychology, and wealth building in plain language that actually makes sense for your real life. I'm Zaki, and if you've been here before, you already know that what we do on this channel goes beyond tips and tricks. We go into the why behind your financial behavior, because understanding the psychology of how you think about money is honestly more powerful than any investment strategy, any budgeting template, or any financial advice you'll ever find online. If you're new here, welcome. Make sure you hit that subscribe button before the video is over, because we put out new content every week. And every video is designed to give you a real edge when it comes to your money. Today's topic is one I've wanted to cover for a long time because it affects every single person watching this, whether you're just starting out with money management or whether you've been at this for years. We're talking about the psychological tactics that modern fintech apps have built into their design, the invisible architecture that shapes your financial decisions without you ever realizing it. We're going deep. Stick with me, because by the end of this video, the way you interact with every financial app on your phone will never be the same again. Let's start with the belief that almost everyone holds. Most people think of their financial apps as neutral tools, like a calculator. You use it, it gives you information, you make a decision, and you move on. The app is passive. It responds to you. You're the one driving. And honestly, this makes complete sense as a mental model. You chose to download the app. You set up your account. You decide when to open it. The app is just sitting there waiting for you, right? But here's where that mental model breaks down. Every major fintech company, and I'm talking about neobanks, budgeting apps, investment platforms, buy now, pay later services, savings apps, even crypto exchanges. Every single one of them has entire teams dedicated to something called behavioral product design. These are teams that combine psychology, economics, data science, and UX design to engineer how users think, feel, and behave inside the app. These companies A/B test everything. They test what color the Invest Now button should be. They test whether saying, "You're falling behind" or "Here's an opportunity" gets more clicks. They test how many seconds after you open the app they should show you a premium upgrade prompt. They test whether round numbers or specific numbers feel more credible in their notifications. And the result of all this testing is an app experience that is optimized not for your financial well-being, but for what behavioral scientists call desired user behavior. Behaviors that keep you in the app longer, make you transact more, and make you more likely to convert to a paid product or service. Think about that for a second. The app on your phone that you trust to help you manage your money has been engineered at a very deep level to influence your behavior in ways that serve the company's interests. That's not paranoia. That's product design, and it's been happening for years. Let me walk you through exactly how this works, because these aren't vague, abstract ideas. These are specific, documented psychological techniques with names and research behind them. Technique 1: gamification and the streak trap. Fintech apps have borrowed aggressively from the world of video games. Streaks, badges, levels, progress bars, points, leaderboards, rewards, all of it has migrated from gaming into your financial life. Your savings app tells you you've saved for 21 days in a row. Your investment platform gives you a badge when you make your first trade. Your budgeting tool celebrates when you stay under your grocery budget with a little confetti animation. Your neobank shows you a financial health score that ticks upward when you follow their recommended behaviors. Now, I want to be fair here. Motivation is genuinely useful. Building good financial habits is hard, and some people do benefit from external encouragement. But here's where gamification crosses a line. These systems work by triggering a psychological mechanism called the completion drive, the deep, wired human compulsion to finish things, close loops, and maintain progress. It's the same mechanism behind why you can't stop watching one more episode of a show, or why losing a Duolingo streak feels genuinely upsetting, even though it has zero real consequences. When a fintech app gamifies your financial behavior, it starts substituting their metrics for real financial progress. You start feeling good when the app says you did well, regardless of whether your actual net worth improved. You feel anxious when you're about to break a streak, so you make a small, unnecessary transaction just to keep the counter going. You start chasing badges instead of chasing real goals. And this is by design, because a user who is emotionally invested in their streak is a user who opens the app every day. A user who cares about their financial health score is a user who responds to notifications. And a user who has built an emotional relationship with the app is a user who is dramatically less likely to delete it, even when the app isn't actually serving their interests. Technique 2: the illusion of progress. Here's one you've almost certainly experienced without having a name for it. You open a savings app and there's a progress bar. You're 34% of the way to your goal. It looks like you've come a long way. It feels meaningful. The bar is nearly a third full. Or you open an investment app after a good week and your portfolio is showing a green arrow and a 2.3% gain. The interface looks clean and optimistic. Everything feels like it's going in the right direction. But what these interfaces are doing is packaging your financial reality into a visual narrative specifically designed to trigger optimism and forward momentum, even when the actual underlying numbers might tell a much more complicated story. There's a well-documented psychological phenomenon called the goal gradient effect. Research consistently shows that the closer people feel they are to a goal, the more motivated and engaged they become. And crucially, this effect can be triggered by the perception of progress, not just real progress. Fintech companies exploit this relentlessly. They make small progress feel enormous. They celebrate every incremental step. They show you how far you've come, rather than giving you a sober, honest picture of where you actually stand. Some savings apps even give you a head start. They'll tell you you've already completed 10% of your goal before you've deposited a single dollar, just to get that goal gradient effect working in their favor from day one. And the result is that you feel productive, optimistic, and capable, which makes you trust the app, spend more time in it, and when a premium subscription appears in the interface, you're emotionally primed to say yes. Technique 3. Anchoring, framing, and the minimum payment trap. This one might be the most financially costly psychological technique on this list, and it's devastatingly simple. Anchoring is what happens when your brain latches onto the first number it encounters in a decision and uses it as a reference point for everything that follows. And fintech apps use this constantly. When a buy now, pay later service breaks a $300 purchase into 6 payments of $50, your brain doesn't process $300 anymore. It processes $50. That's the anchor. And suddenly, a $300 impulse purchase feels like a $50 decision. The full cost is still there. It's just been psychologically disaggregated into pieces small enough that your emotional spending filters don't trigger. The same principle is at work in credit card apps. Every month, the app shows you your balance, and right next to it, a minimum payment option. The minimum is small, specific, and highlighted. The full balance is large and a little scary. Your brain, which is naturally inclined to take the path of least resistance and avoid the more uncomfortable option, gravitates toward the minimum. The app has framed the choice in a way that makes partial payment feel like the reasonable, responsible option. What the app doesn't show you, at least not prominently, is what that minimum payment strategy will cost you over time. The interest that compounds quietly in the background while you feel like you're managing your debt responsibly. The framing has made inaction feel like action. Investment apps do a version of this too. They show you your portfolio performance by the day or even by the hour. Why? Because daily fluctuations are emotionally dramatic. A 1.5% drop in a single day feels urgent and significant, even when the 5-year trajectory of your portfolio is perfectly healthy. By framing your investment through a daily lens rather than a multi-year lens, the app creates a sense of urgency and volatility that keeps you checking in, reacting, and sometimes making impulsive trades that generate fees for the platform. Technique 4. Social proof, engineered to create anxiety. Human beings are deeply social creatures. For tens of thousands of years, watching what other people in our group did was one of the most reliable survival strategies we had. If everyone in the tribe is running, you should probably run too. Fintech apps tap into this instinct with precision. 87,000 people invested in this ETF last week. Users in your age group have an average savings rate of 22%. You're in the top 15% of savers on this platform. 4 of your friends recently opened a high-yield savings account. These statements feel like information, but they're actually carefully engineered social triggers. Your brain receives them and immediately starts comparing. Am I keeping up? Am I ahead? Am I behind? And that comparison creates an emotional pull toward whatever action the app wants you to take. But here's what you're not told. Who exactly is in your peer group according to the app? How were those 87,000 investors selected to appear in that notification? What does top 15% of savers actually mean? 15% of who? The data points are often technically accurate but strategically framed to create urgency, FOMO, or the sense that you're missing out on something everyone else is already doing. Technique 5. Loss aversion as a manipulation tool. If social proof is the carrot, loss aversion is the stick. Loss aversion is one of the most well-established principles in behavioral economics. Research has shown repeatedly that the psychological pain of losing something is roughly twice as intense as the pleasure of gaining the equivalent thing. Losing $100 feels about twice as bad as finding $100 feels good. Fintech apps weaponize this. People who don't start investing by 30 lose an average of $400,000 in potential wealth. You missed out on $847 in potential returns last year by keeping your money in a standard savings account. Every day you wait costs you more than you think. Notice the language: lose, miss out, cost, weight. These aren't neutral descriptions of financial concepts. They're activations of your loss aversion instinct. They're designed to make you feel like you are right now, in this very moment, hemorrhaging money, and that the only way to stop the bleeding is to act immediately. Inside this app, on this product they're offering you, the underlying financial idea might even be sound. Starting to invest early really is important, but the emotional delivery of that message has been crafted not to inform you, but to trigger a stress response that bypasses your rational decision-making and pushes you toward an emotionally driven, fast decision. Technique 6. Variable rewards and the notification loop. The last technique I want to walk you through is perhaps the most insidious because it operates almost entirely below the level of conscious awareness. Variable rewards are the psychological engine behind slot machines, social media feeds, and increasingly, Fintech apps. A variable reward is a reward that comes unpredictably. Sometimes you spin and you get something. Sometimes you don't. And research consistently shows that unpredictable rewards are far more addictive than predictable ones. Your brain stays in a state of anticipation because it never quite knows when the payoff is coming. In a Fintech app, this shows up in notifications. Sometimes you open a notification and it's neutral, just an account update. But sometimes it's exciting. Your investment went up. You hit a new savings milestone. You got approved for something. The inconsistency is the point. Your brain learns that opening the app might deliver a reward, and that unpredictability keeps you coming back. Combined with notifications that arrive at carefully studied times, moments when you're likely to be emotionally receptive, or when you've just made a related purchase, or when a certain amount of time has passed since your last login, the variable reward system creates a behavioral loop that feels completely self-directed, but has actually been engineered by the platform. Here's the thing I really want you to sit with. None of these techniques, taken individually, are illegal. And in isolation, some of them are even genuinely helpful for certain people in certain situations. Encouraging someone to save with a streak? Fine. Showing someone the cost of waiting to invest? Potentially valuable. The problem is the incentive structure that sits behind all of it. When a fintech company's revenue model depends on transaction volume, premium subscriptions, interest income, affiliate referrals, or selling anonymized user data, then their financial success and your financial well-being are not always pointing in the same direction. Sometimes they are, often enough to keep you satisfied, but at the margin, the incentives diverge. And that's exactly where the psychological engineering gets applied. Behavioral economists call this incentive-compatible design versus dark pattern design. When an app's design pushes you toward behaviors that genuinely serve you, that's good design. When an app's design exploits your cognitive biases to push you toward behaviors that serve the platform at your expense, that's a dark pattern. And the sophistication of modern fintech means the line between the two is deliberately blurred, often wrapped in friendly language, warm colors, and the feeling that the app is your personal financial cheerleader. It's important to understand that these companies aren't necessarily evil. Many of the people building these products genuinely believe in them, but the structural pressure of building a profitable technology company creates powerful incentives to optimize for engagement over outcomes. And engagement, time in app, clicks, transactions, notifications opened, is not the same thing as financial health. The apps that make the most money are not always the ones that make you the most financially successful. That's the gap you need to internalize. Real quick, if you're getting value from this video, go ahead and hit the like button right now. It takes 1 second, and it genuinely makes a difference for how many people this video reaches. And if you haven't subscribed yet, do it. We put out videos like this every single week, and you don't want to miss them. Drop a comment below and tell me, which one of these techniques have you personally experienced in a financial app? I'm genuinely curious, and I read every comment. All right, let's keep going. So here's the practical side. What do you actually do with everything you just learned? Step 1. Audit the emotional experience of your apps. The next time you open any financial app, pay attention to how you feel, not just what you see. Do you feel calm and informed, or do you feel slightly anxious, behind, competitive, or pressured? Your emotional response is diagnostic. Apps that consistently make you feel stressed or inadequate are likely using your emotional state to drive behavior. That doesn't necessarily mean you should delete them, but it means you should be paying attention. Step 2. Take control of your notification settings. This is honestly one of the highest leverage things you can do for your financial decision-making, and most people never think to do it. Go into every financial app on your phone and turn off every notification that isn't a genuine alert, fraud warnings, payment due dates, things you actually need to know, marketing notifications, engagement nudges, spending summaries, you've been inactive reminders, all of that goes. You are deciding when you engage with your money. The app doesn't get to interrupt you. Step 3. Create a gap between information and decision. This is a simple rule, but it's remarkably powerful. Do not make financial decisions inside the app in the emotional state the app has created for you. Open the app, get your information, close the app, wait at least 10 minutes, preferably a night, then make your decision with a clear head. This single habit can save you from an enormous number of financially damaging, impulsive choices. Step 4. Redefine what doing well means to you. The metrics Fintech apps show you are chosen to keep you engaged. Streaks, daily returns, spending scores, rankings. But real wealth building has different metrics. Your savings rate, your net worth trajectory over months and years, the ratio between what you earn and what you keep, the progress you're making toward goals you actually set, not goals the app suggested. Write those metrics down somewhere outside of any app. Review them monthly. Those are your North Stars, not the app's dashboard. Step 5. Use the app as a tool, not as an advisor. A hammer doesn't tell you where to put the nail. A calculator doesn't tell you which numbers to calculate. Tools execute your decisions. They don't make decisions for you. When you pick up a Fintech app, go in with a specific question or task, complete it, and leave. Don't browse. Don't follow recommendations without independent research. Don't let the interface lead you. You have a goal. The app is a means to that goal. Keep that hierarchy clear. Let me leave you with this. We're living through a genuinely unprecedented moment in the relationship between human psychology and financial technology. The same tools that can help millions of people manage money better than they ever could before are also being optimized in very sophisticated ways to serve corporate interests that don't always align with individual financial well-being. And the companies doing this aren't hiding it exactly. It's all in the design philosophy. It's in the job descriptions on their career pages: behavioral economist, engagement specialist, growth designer. The language is neutral, even positive, but what it describes is an ongoing data-driven effort to shape how you think, feel, and behave when it comes to your money. The answer to this isn't to throw your phone away and manage everything with a spreadsheet and a pencil. These tools are genuinely powerful when used correctly. The answer is awareness, because psychological tactics only have full power over you when you don't recognize them. The moment you can name what's happening, this is a loss aversion trigger. This streak mechanic is designed to keep me in the app. This social comparison is engineered anxiety. The mechanism loses most of its grip. You start making decisions from a place of clarity instead of a place of engineered emotion. And that shift from reactive user to intentional decision maker is one of the most compounding advantages you can build in your financial life. Because wealth isn't just built by knowing the right investments. It's built by making consistently clear-headed, intentional decisions over a long period of time. And that kind of clarity starts with knowing what you're really looking at. If this video gave you a new way of seeing something you interact with every single day, I'd really appreciate it if you shared it with someone who needs to hear it. Most people have no idea this is happening to them, and sharing is genuinely the best way you can support what we're building here. Make sure you're subscribed. We go this deep every single week, and I promise you the next video is one you're going to want to see. I'm Zaki. Stay aware, stay intentional, and I'll see you next week.